Swaran Singh. He's a foreign affairs expert from the School of International Studies, JNU, joining us. Thank you, Professor Singh. What would you call the political landscape in Canada right now? Would you say it's dynamic? Are we going to have lots of major change?
Thank you, Mark. I think there is a possibility of situation becoming increasingly clearer compared to confusion being writ large for much of last year. And his tirade against India can be seen, if not causing it, at least coinciding with this whole drama unfolding and then gradually, increasingly making it untenable for Justin Trudeau to continue. And of course, the anticipation now is that before the Wednesday meeting of party caucus, where he will be asked to resign, already 20 MPs of his own Liberal Party have gone public over several weeks to ask him for resigning. There was a secret letter reported asking him to resign on October 28. So I think this is something that is going to make situation relatively clear. It's not going to solve all problems, because most problems are domestic in that sense of economic deceleration, inflation, price rise, housing, healthcare, and so on. But at least in terms of the political drama that was staying in extremely fluid situation, and in last 3 weeks he was virtually not visible, not meeting media, clarifying things. If he resigns, I think situation could be relatively clearer. But he's going to resign as the party leader and not obviously as prime minister. Reports are that he's asking the new finance minister Dominic LeBlanc to step in and take that responsibility. But it's interesting, Mark, to note that anyone who becomes interim prime minister will lose the chance to then contest for party leadership, and in that sense party leadership determines who will be the next prime minister.
Right.
So things are not absolutely clear, but relatively clearer compared to where they were before.
Right. So that's with regard to the Liberal Party. But, with regard to the Conservatives, how much influence does Pierre Poilievre have? Has any spillover from the Republican victory in the US, helped him?
There is definitely no doubt, Mark. That is the main concern right now, that in case Justin Trudeau continues to be prime minister without, holding the leadership of the party, his bargaining power with the President Donald Trump is absolutely limited in that sense. Same is true if Dominic LeBlanc takes over as interim prime minister. His again bargaining with Donald Trump will be really very weak. So in that sense, earlier the elections are held is something that is going to strengthen Canadian position to negotiate with the United States. And if earlier elections happen rather than later, as October is the date, earlier elections would definitely help the Conservative Party, and we might see Pierre Poilievre taking over as the next prime minister with that kind of swing vote in favor, which will be actually against Liberal Party, but then will favor Conservatives, would bring back a prime minister perhaps with a certain stronger mandate to stand up and negotiate with President Donald Trump, who's threatening straight away with 25% added tariffs to imports from Canada. Border provinces are particularly very concerned. MPs from there are very concerned about it. But remember, there are a whole lot of other challenges that also lie in terms of domestic economics, politics, social fabric, and so on, which is also going to be a much more serious set of challenges for anyone who takes over after Justin Trudeau, either within the Liberal Party or after elections when the Conservatives are all set to take over power.
Right, and Justin Trudeau has been in power for a good 8 years or more. And is there, a leadership vacuum that will develop in the Liberal Party after he goes?
That is true, that yes, he's been a long-term leader of Liberal Party and Prime Minister, but there are already some names that are floating from the Liberal Party who could be the MPs who could be trying to contest for party leadership. So that remains a possibility, and successions often do take place. It's not that, the successions have not happened before. But I think it's interesting to see who will finally, take over post Justin Trudeau, whether it is going to be within the Liberal Party, or are we going to have a snap elections being announced and possibly Liberals losing massively, given that there's a huge anti-incumbency mood in the country. And that is very likely that the Conservatives will form the government. If it is going as far as to October, then the mandate could again be divided, and maybe we'll see another
Right.
coalition which will have to deal with Donald Trump from that perspective.
Okay, so we have to wait for Donald Trump to take office and then we'll see how things develop in Canada. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Professor Swaran Singh, for joining us.